Viewers, LNA of Khalifa Haftar has been losing territories within the last few days at a very rapid speed, starting from Tripoli International Airport, then Tripoli City, then Tarhuna, then Bani Walid. So many losses in the recent days, viewers. What is the real reason behind this retreat of LNA forces from Western Libya? In this video, viewers, I'll have a look at the causes behind this very rapid retreat of LNA forces from most of Western Libya fronts. I'll have a look at the perspective of GNA and LNA as well regarding this retreat, and then I'll give you my analysis, viewers. Firstly, viewers, we know that this retreat, this withdrawal of LNA forces from Western Libya fronts, it started almost 2 months ago. First, the cities to the west of Tripoli, coastal cities like Sarman, Sabrata, then places like Al-Isa, Al-Jumail, Al-Ajilat, and Rigdalin, Zaltan, these places fell to GNA. After that, viewers, GNA laid siege to Al-Watia Air Base, and this siege of Al-Watia, it continued for almost a month. And almost a month ago, viewers, when LNA forces decided to retreat from Al-Watia Air Base, then this retreat had a domino effect. It set things in motion, and after that, we saw retreat after retreat. After Al-Watia, we saw that Badr, Tiji, Al-Asabiya fell. Then we would south of Tripoli, Hamza camp, Yarmouk camp. Then most recently, we saw Qasr bin Ghashir, Tripoli International Airport, Tripoli City. After that, Tarhuna, then Bani Walid. So retreat after retreat, and it started, I believe, from this Al-Watia retreat. After Al-Watia, viewers, LNA continued retreating from different fronts. Now, looking at it from GNA's perspective, viewers, GNA and Turkey, they believe that Turkey is the difference between GNA and LNA. And they say that Turkish drones, Turkish military equipment, Turkish operators of these drones, they are too much to be handled by LNA, and LNA cannot counter this military might of Turkey. They refer to their drones, their military equipment like Korkut anti-aircraft guns, Hisar air defense systems, and other different types of military equipment. And they say that Turkish military is a much advanced military in comparison to LNA fighters. That is why, with the help of this Turkish military, GNA is making territorial gains. On the other hand, viewers, if you talk to LNA side, though their official version is that their retreat is their tactical withdrawal, they are repositioning. But now so many retreats have happened that it is very difficult for them to defend these retreats, viewers. And now they say that the countries which are backing them, they are not openly backing them. Just like Turkey is backing GNA in a very open manner, and Turkey is putting in all its resources, its military resources, from its fighter planes, its drone, its frigates, its military equipment, its land, its ground troops, everything Turkey is trying to put in behind GNA. So LNA side, it just complains that its backers like UAE and Egypt, they are not backing it in the same manner as Turkey is backing GNA. Now, if you talk to me, if you ask me about this retreat of LNA and the causes behind this retreat of LNA, I think there are four major causes behind this retreat of LNA from numerous fronts in Western Libya. First of all, viewers, air superiority is the most important thing in Libya. Such is the terrain that whosoever is in charge of air in Libya, it will have more likelihood, it will be more likely to be in control on land as well. Because when Haftar forces they grabbed different territories before the arrival of Turkey, it was due to better air power that Haftar forces had back then. But after the arrival of Turkey, viewers, this balance shifted. Turkish drones they changed this balance in favor of GNA, viewers. Though LNA it does have drones, wing-long drones of China, and it does have other air power, but Turkish drones and Turkish operators, I think they are more skilled than these drones of wing-long of LNA. So the air balance, the balance in the air, it tilted in favor of GNA, and LNA tried to change this balance. We heard that LNA announced to launch this Birds of Ababil air operation, and they had claimed that it would be largest in the history of Libya, but they could never start this air operation. So GNA managed to have this influence in the air, which led to their gains on ground. This is the first and most important thing, viewers, and it will be the same in the coming battles as well. If this escalation goes deeper into eastern Libya, so whichever side has this superiority in the air, it will have an advantage over the other side. Now, the second thing, viewers, which I think is the cause of retreat of LNA forces, is that the backers of LNA, they are not backing LNA in a way in which GNA is being backed by Turkey. Turkey and GNA, they have signed an MOU, viewers. GNA has a seat at the UN, so Turkey can sign agreements with them. So they signed an MOU about security cooperation. Now, countries backing LNA like UAE, Egypt, Russia, they cannot legally sign documents to back LNA. That is why they can secretly sponsor LNA. They can secretly give their resources to LNA, but they cannot openly support LNA. That is the biggest hurdle, viewers, I think. So they cannot openly send their troops here. They cannot deploy their fighter jets here. You know that when Russia, just a few days ago, we heard from AFRICOM, American military command in Africa, that Russia had sent Russian fighter jets in Libya. So AFRICOM was very quick to point out about the flight of Russian fighter jets in Libya. So that shows, viewers, that it is not easy for these countries to back LNA forces as much as GNA is being backed by Turkey, viewers. Because the official version of all these countries, Egypt, UAE, Russia and France, is that they are neutral. They're not part of this war. Now they can deploy their resources in Libya to a limited extent. It is a drawback for LNA, and I think it is one of the causes behind the retreat of LNA as well. Now, the third reason, viewers, I think is the lack of human resources this problem is being faced by LNA. We know that foreign fighters, they are fighting on both sides, on GNA as well and on LNA side as well. And the fighters of LNA included Wagner fighters of Russian Wagner PMC. These fighters, they have been withdrawing from certain fronts like south of Tripoli we saw, and LNA complained as well that these fighters, they were avoiding from fighting on front, and they were trying to avoid fighting on riskier fronts. So that is the case with other foreign fighters from Sudan and Chad as well. So these fighters, not only was their number decreasing, viewers, but it was becoming difficult for these fighters to keep on fighting as there were no air cover. Turkish drones, they have been destroying air defense systems, Pantsir air defense systems. So when this happens, that air defense systems are destroyed, Ground troops, fighters on ground, they become very, very vulnerable. So that is why these fighters who were fighting on ground after the destruction of air defense systems by Turkish drones, they felt more and more vulnerable. And LNA had to face this problem of lack of human resources, lack of fighters. Now, viewers, fourth thing, which is very important thing, is the role of Russia, viewers. Russia has been put under a lot of pressure from AFRICOM, from NATO in the recent days. So Russia's official position is that it is not a party to Libyan conflict, and there are no Russian troops here, no Russian fighter jets here. That is why when these fighter jets flew from Syria to Libya, AFRICOM pointed out about the fact that these were Russian fighter jets, and after that we heard LNA rejecting this allegation of AFRICOM, and they said that these were basically fighter jets of Libyan Air Force and refurbished fighter jets. So Russia is being put under a lot of pressure from NATO, from America, from the neighboring countries. These countries do not want Russia to be behind LNA beyond a certain limit. That is why we saw that Russian Wagner Group, it withdrew from this Tripoli front. Then if Russian fighter jets came in Libya, they could not use these fighter jets. But war is not over, viewers. Serad front is busy right now when I'm making this video. And these countries which are backing Haftar, Egypt, UAE, Russia, and France, if GNA decides to go beyond Serad and in Serad too, viewers, I think these countries either they will have to openly support Haftar forces LNA, or they will have to they will have to ensure that a ceasefire agreement is reached between GNA and LNA. But war is not over, viewers. Though from Western Libya, from most of Western Libya fronts, LNA has retreated due to the causes I mentioned before, but war is still going on, and we don't know what will happen in the coming days. Thanks for watching.